Hi, welcome. Today we are going to look at functions. So if we take a look back, we have already looked at basic operations in Python. We've already looked at basic data structures like strings, tuples, dictionaries, sets. Then we've looked at the if statement and the difference between the for loop and the while loop. So now we are going to look at functions. Functions, very interesting. This is when we start doing some things. Algorithms come mostly from these functions. So let us look at how a simple function is made in Python. So the basic syntax for a function is def. When you write def, Python knows you are about to create a function. Then the next thing is the name of the function. And then now you put this parenthesis. We'll come to that later. Let's move on. So you have your colon and then your indent. Remember this indent, we've seen it in if, we've seen it in for loop and while loop. So as soon as you put something in this indent, okay, is part of this function. As soon as it's out of the indent, Python doesn't know if maybe you wanted to continue writing more code after the function ended. So let's look at it now. Our indent. So simple thing, we'll just print out something. Print hello my friend. Simple. Now we run it. Okay, now we get nothing. Why do we get nothing? Because it is just stored. The function has just been run. It is stored. We have not yet called the function. So now this is the next thing to do when you create a function is to call the function. So if you see here, it's already proposing it to me. So I'm going to call this function now. So I run this. Then now I have hello friend, hello my friend. So I created the function here. It was silent. It waited for me to call it. Then it came out. So that's how you could call the function in several occasions once you've created it and reuse and reuse. And that's why it's usually good when you are doing modularized code. So functions are very, very important. Now let us look at this word now. An interesting thing, print, return. Let us move now. What if we put return here? Return here. So now we run it, we get nothing. So despite the fact that we are calling the function here, we get nothing in return. So if you want to see what is in the return, you have to use print here to be able to run it here. Then now if I run this now, I'm able to see now what is here because I used return. But remember when it was print, it wasn't necessary for me to use print here. But that's not all about return and print. Now let me show you something. Let me store this now in a variable. I say greetings should be equal to now the welcome. So I've stored this now as greetings. Then I come here and then I say print greetings times 2. Okay, so when I run this now, what do I get? I get this hello my friend, hello my friend. So if you remember in strings, we said when you multiply a string, it gives you multiples of it. Like I could say times 10, for example. You're going to see hello my friend, hello my friend, hello my friend 10 times. So actually it means that this greetings is actually a string, an object that has been stored here, and we can reuse it to do. So it could have been an integer where we could use it to do more division, multiplication later. It could be any object, it could be anything. So that means that when it's returned, we have this. But now let me just change this to print. Print. Now let's run this and see what we get. Oh, you see, we get a big error. This error is because it's not seeing the object greetings. Because with this print, you don't really have an object stored like when you use return. So print is just like temporarily, you just want to see something and you don't want it to stay there permanently. And then you would always use return now when you want to see something permanently and run it and use it maybe for other purposes later. So I hope you understand the difference between return and print. So return will give you something that you can use later permanently, but print will just print something to show you on the screen. You see it, it's displayed, but then you cannot really grasp it and use it later. I hope that is a bit clear. So that's not all about the return and the print. Let us now look at this. So if now we come here and we say, okay, let us look at these two parentheses now. So this now is, I'm going to put something like name and then put something like maybe age. Right? So I would say change the statement to hello. I'll create an F string, F, then I'll say hello, some. Remember to always put the variable inside name, hello name. Okay, you are, remember to always put the next one that you want, you are that years old. Okay, good. So we are saying hello, this name, you are that years old. So we expect to say hello Mike, you are maybe 20 years old. If we put Mike here and we put 20 here, so let's do just that. So we call now our function. We are going to print our welcome. Then we call Mike, and after Mike we say 20. So let's run that. You see, hello Mike, you're 20 years old. So you see your function. You can now use your function with these arguments now inside, and then you get this out. So it can be James, James, and then maybe James is 30. It can be James. We can run it. See, we get now, hello James, you are 30 years old. So now, okay, so now let's look at this positional. So what if, for example, I say instead here 30, then here James. See, now, see, now it instead says hello 30, you are James years old. So it doesn't make sense. So because this is a positional argument, it was expecting that I should know that name is always the first and age is always the second. So I was supposed to instead put James in front here like the first, and then put the 30 like the second. So now it is it's like, so now, so what you typically can also do with a function in this situation, let's say you don't remember the positions, you don't know if James was first or the age was first. So that is when now you can now use a keyword argument. So you say age equal to, now you put the age, maybe 40, then you put now name equal to, now maybe Susan or Rita also. Let's just put Rita here, Rita. So now let us run this. And what do we get? You see, we get now, hello Rita, you are 40 years old. So if you are not able to understand, remember the exact position of the arguments in your function, you can just use, just by calling the names to say, okay, this is the age, this is 40, and the name, this is Rita. So I hope you get a basic understanding of how functions work and how they can relate, because the whole of this could be long statements going in, going out, this divided by that, this multiplied by that, and you can see that a function is very powerful and makes your code modularized, so that once as you've created something like this, you can call it, let me go back, undo. Once as we created something like this, let's go back to undo, you can run it many times and use and reuse it. So one last thing, we have return here. Now let me go here and then I put print, maybe print you are welcome. See, already from this, PyCharm is already complaining about this. Let me just show you the difference. If, for example, instead of putting it here, I put it before the return, you see, it is very, very okay. So what does it mean? It means that whenever you're doing your function, as soon as you use the word return, then it means your function is ended, it's over. So you're saying return is the last thing, and after that, nothing else. So if I put it again here, see, when I'm out of it, out of the code, out of the syntax for the function, it's okay. But then as soon as I put it back inside the syntax of the function, it starts complaining that I'm not okay with you. And you see what happens? Hello Rita, you're 40 years old. And what happened to the print you are welcome? Nothing, unless I take it completely out of the function and then you run this. You see, you get, first of all, it prints you are welcome. So it prints like a normal Python line 1 first. Then before, when it gets here now, it evaluates the code and say, okay, this is all I know about the code. I know just this part. I don't care about anything that comes after return. So be careful when you're writing your functions. As soon as you use the word return, know that that is the last thing you're writing here. Or if not, you can use print many times, return is the last thing you should write. So I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next video.